allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Huff.
Ms. Boykins?
Here.
Ms. Hopkins?
Here.
Ms. Richardson?
Here.
Ms. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Tall?
Here.
Ms. Fitty?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
And Ms. Hall.
Here. Thank you so much. I don't have a PowerPoint tonight. It's been a very, very busy summer in my office. But I do have 4 things I want to talk about. Sneak peek is Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. in all schools. There will also be a curriculum night in September. But do come out to your schools. All are welcome to walk around the schools, meet the teachers that are there, get the lay of the land in the classrooms. School opens Wednesday, September 4th. And there's a couple caveats. 7th graders come to school on Wednesday, September 4th. 8th graders come to school on Thursday, September 5th. Kindergarten starts on September 9th, but there are conferences next week to get the little kids acclimated. Please check our website for the athletic schedule. You do not want to go through a fall, winter, or spring without seeing Penwood sports. The fall is volleyball, soccer, football, cross country, lacrosse, and tennis. So all the schedules are right online. Pick a team, pick a sport, and do show up for our children. Miss Jane, Mr. Wright, and I were at Friday's game, football game. It was fabulous. It was a beautiful night. We did really, really well. And it was a great start to the season. So please come out and see our young folks participate. You can hear the band anytime you want, clearly. I do want to talk about the Walnut Street Playground bill. If you would like to volunteer on September 11th, please contact me or Ms. Bookman, and we'll send you the link to sign up. If you go to GoFundMe, there is a link to give a donation on Walnut Street to raise $8,500 as sort of having some skin in the game for the project. The project is probably close to $200,000 in value. Thank yous to Jeff, Aramark, the teachers that planned the summer, Mr. Joe Williams, the principal. It is going to be an amazing project. It is double the size of any project we've ever done. They will be revising this. There's a basketball court there, plays 2 half-court games. They'll be putting down a fancy sport court on it, so now they can play basketball both ways, a version of small court soccer and volleyball stanchions. So it's a really amazing project. If you just go over there, you can see. Thanks to Community Service that came out this weekend, did a lot of removing of trash, and painted all the walls that surround the sport court. So now everything's Penwood blue. That's it for me. Ms. Orbert?
Thank you, Ms. Hoff. As shared by Ms. Hoff, we have a lot of new and exciting things happening across our district. First, I'd like to start with a brief explanation of Sneak Peek. I know that Ms. Hoff shared that Sneak Peek is your opportunity for our parents to see the buildings and their children's classrooms. Not all teachers will be in attendance, as we have Title I curriculum nights scheduled in September, and that's where we ask our teachers to be there to speak to you about the curriculum and your students. Teachers, so when I think of Sneak Peek, I think of it like an open house for a realtor. So our high school parents, though, if you get the opportunity on Wednesday night, please go and see the new and updated cafeteria for our students at Green Avenue. I do want to thank Eric for his vision in making this update and remodel possible. Next, I want to say thank you to our maintenance staff for the hard work they have put into making sure our facilities are in the best possible shape for teachers and students to return. On that note, for parents, if you know you wanted to see the 6th grade annex, or suite as we're now calling it, at Evans prior to Sneak Peek, but we wanted to make sure that the classrooms were really ready for you, and they will be ready on Wednesday night for sure. If you were here, you were able to see the list of items that were completed for the new 6th grade suite, as we're calling it. This leads to my next discussion. We are going to house 2 preschool classrooms at Evans Elementary. These classrooms are run by the Delaware County Intermediate Unit. So if you have any questions about the preschool program, please reach out to them because we don't have the answers necessarily here. I do know that the preschoolers will not start until September the 11th. I want to say thank you to Mr. McKay for making our new ELA curriculum available for our public review. The materials for reading, for Into Reading and Wonders are at the Darby, Lansdowne, and Yaden Public Libraries. So they'll be available for people to review.
Which libraries? I'm sorry.
They will be at Darby, Lansdowne, and Yaden. So Into Reading will be piloted at East Lansdowne, and Wonders will be piloted at Evans. Mr. McKay left his business card with his phone number on it at the libraries and a letter that will explain the materials. But if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to him. Also want to welcome Dr. Gary Cooper as the interim principal at Ardmore Elementary. We are in the process of conducting the interviews and hope to have someone in place by the end of September. Last week, we welcomed 25 new staff members to the William Penn School District. Each year when we do the new staff orientation, I see such excitement and commitment with our new employees. It really warms my heart every year to see this happening. High school parents this year, we will be implementing a new attendance procedure using scholarship. Students will be using their IDs to scan into school. This procedure will assist us with safety and help us identify tardiness and absences much earlier. So next year, as requested by parents across, we will be getting calls out to you if your child is tardy or absent much earlier as requested. Our goal is to notify you of tardiness by 9:30 and absences by 10:30, 10:45. Please be patient with us as we work out some of the details in this new procedure. Also new for our 9th graders, they're going to be participating in PE and health classes. It's been over 10 years since we had this for our 9th grade students, so I'm really pleased with that. Ms. Hoff mentioned the Walnut Playground build on September the 11th, another great resource for our school and communities. A reminder to Walnut parents only. There will be no school on September the 11th in order to accommodate the playground build. And if you're interested in supporting, please reach out to Ms. Hoff or Ms. Buckman to sign up. Quick update for the fair funding lawsuit. I am finished with my depositions. It's a very interesting process, and discovery should be over by the end of October. And we are still anticipating a late summer or early fall court date, 2020, I guess. Yeah. Friday Night Lights are back up and running. It was so exciting last Friday night. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Rat Curry for our new live streaming of our athletic events. For people like me, live streaming means you go to the game. For people that are younger, you can watch it on your phone now. This is a great opportunity for our teams and our students our students are learning the process, and they're the ones who are actually doing it and making it happen for the district. So go Penwood. Thank you again, and we're excited for our 2019-20 school year.
Thank you very much, Ms. Harvard. May I have a motion to approve the agenda adding E3, which is the Delaware County resolution approving the purchase, financing, and construction of the former Archbishop Pendergrass High School?
Second.
Any questions? No. Look at you guys. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? That's fabulous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 22nd business meeting?
So moved.
Any questions?
I have to abstain, I was not there.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Fabulous. We have no remarks by student representatives and no special awards. I'm sure they'll come soon. Public comments regarding agenda items, please. Anyone? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed ahead. Mr. Cuff, any communications?
No, ma'am.
All right, we dive into committee reports right now. Ms. Phils will be doing community relations, and then she will be reading the update on the superintendent search. This document is on the front table if you want to get it. Ms. Phillips.
All right, A1 National Life Changer of the Year Award, Miss Marnie Miles Jackson, Parklane Elementary School Guidance Counselor, has been nominated for the 2019-2020 National Life Changer of the Year Award. Miss Yolanda Garvin, parent of a student at East Lansdowne Elementary School, nominated Miss Miles Jackson for the support she provided to Miss Garvin's son when he was struggling with behavior issues. Miss Garvin stated her son gained self-control, trust, and confidence under Mrs. Miles Jackson's guidance and commended her caring and nurturing style of work. This is her second consecutive nomination as well, and there's a little bit more in here about that. Congratulations. A2, community eligibility provision, free school meals for all students. So there's no application necessary. This is just part of the ongoing what's been provided. So A3, musical instrument rental night. So this is happening on Tuesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. And this is for students in grades 4 through 12 who are interested in participating in band programs. And there's contact information for all the instructors. A4, Children's Health Insurance Program. This gives details about applying for CHIP. There's a phone number and a website in here that you can use. A5, the CarMax Foundation and Kaboom partner to help create a new playground and multi-sports court at Walnut Street Elementary School, which Jen spoke about. A6, school opening information. Again, Jennifer spoke to this, but just to highlight that 7th graders start on September 4th, 8th graders start on September 5th, and then kindergarten starts September 9th with school conferences next week for kindergartners. A7, mandatory re-registration required for high school freshmen. And A8, give kids sight day, free day of eye care. This is happening on Saturday, October 5th, 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this will be at Jefferson's Medical College's Alumni Hall, 10th and Willow Streets in Philadelphia. And then moving on to the superintendent search update. So I'm just going to read this, but there's a handout in the back that details what we've done so far. A meeting of the William Penn School District Superintendent Search Subcommittee was held on Monday, August 5th at 6:30 here at this building. In addition, the Board of School Directors met on 3 separate occasions with the DCIU search consultants in executive session. At the August 5th subcommittee meeting, Dr. Maria Edelberg, who is the Executive Director of the Delaware County Intermediate Union, introduced herself and members of the DCIU search consultant team who were present. The purpose of this meeting was to review and seek feedback on the upcoming survey that's planned to be implemented during the first few weeks of September of this year. Dr. Edelberg explained the purpose of the survey, which is to garner stakeholder input in identifying strengths, challenges, and superintendent qualities important to all stakeholders. The data from the survey and the focus groups will help develop a superintendent leadership profile. This profile describes the ideal characteristics, skills, expertise, and knowledge the next William Penn School Director, William Penn School District Superintendent possess. The August 5th meeting attendees provided valuable feedback on the survey, which has been incorporated into the final version of the survey, and this will be launched after Labor Day. So the timeline for the search is something we've been discussing as well, and that's listed here. So July through August, the past couple of months, have been a soft launch for advertising, meetings with board and superintendent search subcommittee. From September to November, we're looking at the survey and community and staff focus groups, which are also listed here, as well as broader advertising and recruitment processes. From December to February, this is where we're looking at doing our screening process and interviews. And then we're hoping to do our finalist selection and appointment between February and March of 2020. So the focus groups are all listed here. There's 4 community focus groups And there's a save the date flyer that we also have coming out shortly. They're all at different locations here and different times to try to accommodate different schedules so that anyone can participate. All members of the community are welcome to attend, and the William Penn School District will provide transportation to the focus groups for community members. More information on how to sign up will be forthcoming to sign up for the transportation. And then we will also be having specific focus groups for support staff, administrative staff, and professional staff, as well as one for students specifically. So that's kind of an overview of what's been happening.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
When will we advertise for this opening?
Ms. Roberts not present during those meetings at all. So advertisement goes out October?
It's starting now.
Yeah.
We have a soft launch of advertising
Right.
that we've just discussed.
Right.
The reason why I'm asking, I have several community people asking to attend because they're taxpayers. Me as a school board director will be done in December. I also want to be notified because I want to get involved. I'll still stay involved in my community. So I want to be also attend these meetings.
Great.
That's why I'm opening Monday.
So these meetings are open to everyone.
I just want to ask when you're going to start publicizing it so we know what candidates are coming in. Okay, thank you.
These are focus meetings.
Yes, I
They
do.
will be to get feedback on what we're looking at as superintendent. Yes, ma'am.
Page 5, A5. I just want to know what time, I know it's been said, and I'm sure it's been said 1,000 times. I just want to know what time for the playground on September 11th.
8 to 3.
Thank you.
Yeah, 8 to 3. Yeah, we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony at 2:30 sharp. If you've not done this before, I highly recommend it. It is amazing to see how it gets done in one day with 225 people. I'm not taking questions from the public. I can take them at the end. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Figured that I owe a statement to the public. The reason why I was not at the meeting, I'm very happy today to say my wife is here. We had to take her to Temple University for procedure. And
She's giving you the cut side.
I know.
I'm fine.
And
You look fabulous.
right.
Thank you.
And hopefully we get the information next week. So that's why I wasn't here.
Great, great. And that was the August 19th meeting.
Right.
You were present for August 5th. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs.
Now that you made her turn red.
Yeah.
She's gonna do that anyway.
Yeah. All right, any other questions from the board? Okay, there's nothing to vote on. Ms. Boykins, education, please.
B1, U.S. Medical Staffing Services. B2, Staffing Plus, Inc. B3, Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital. And B4, Social Signals.
Great. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? Hearing none. All those in favor? Anyone against? Thank you. Personnel, Mr. Wright?
Thank you. C1 resignation. C2 retirement. C3 appointments. C4 changes in assignment. C5 leave of absence. And C6 substitute teacher service contract. I'd like to make a comment about that right now.
Could we get a second and then come back for comment?
Okay.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, now go.
Okay. I had several comments I'd like to make, but I'd like to start with C6. This is the easiest one. There's a national teachers shortage, and this is one way that anyone who is not working or want to start a second career or need a part-time can get involved with this process, that they'll be able to work as a substitute teacher and also have credentials that would afford them to teach anywhere here in Delaware County, even in Pennsylvania. My other concern is dealing with C4 changes in the site. I want everyone to participate in the affirmative action in diversity program that it took about 18 months of our time, and it was a worthwhile project for all of us to work on. Unfortunately, we had some concerns, but before I get to the concerns, I know I promised everybody a celebration. Hopefully we will do that in the fall. I didn't forget, and I probably recommend that we have our celebration here to everybody participating, and those who didn't participate in the process attend. I have a concern. In the process we was developing.
Wait, so I want to stick to the agenda.
I am
So
taking-
can,
I am
so,
taking to the
okay,
agenda.
but a concern on a broad, non-agenda point.
No, it's not.
Okay, so point to what you're talking about on the agenda.
Right. Well, affirmative action and diversity definitely is about this process. I
Okay,
guess, let me finish.
no,
My
but,
concern-
so it has to be on the agenda if we're gonna
It
talk.
is.
We can go back to it if it's a broader statement, but if it, unless it has to do with
I'm
Lisa.
going to make the statement to show you how to connect.
Okay, go on.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's supposed to start.
All right, that's okay. When we put this process, together, we were looking to hopefully that the candidate we were hired would reflect the culture of our students that best serve our students. And hopefully by hiring an individual who reflect that in the culture, that we beginning to move forward and also will level the playing field. I would like, unfortunately, I guess the question I like to ask is, those who accepted from teacher on special assignments, facilitators, Eagles program, how many of them were individuals who reflected our culture?
Okay, so I'm gonna guess that Mr. Conley doesn't have an answer to that,
We should have one.
but,
Still in process, so I can't get an answer.
okay, so get us an answer, and can you please call a personnel meeting so we can go through and look at those, what happened over the last 4 months
Yeah, we're gonna
with
do
our
that.
hiring? Okay, so let's do that,
Yeah.
okay? Any-
Double check what we're doing personnel.
Okay, fabulous. Anyone else? Hearing none. All those in favor? Anyone against? All right, thank you. Property committee agenda, Ms. Fitty.
I haven't been able to attend the meetings for personal reasons. So right now, the only thing I have for you is that Ashton, the DCIU has been keeping me abreast of Ashton Vertec. They're gonna be open soon, we're gonna do a ribbon cutting, and I will attend. And I'm sorry, there's no more reports other than I just got the summer project paperwork. And I think Aaron Work is doing a fabulous job, and I want to thank them personally.
Great, thank you, Ms. Fitty.
Excuse me.
Ms. Richardson, President of Finance, please.
E1 is the treasury report, E2 is a list of bills, and we added E3, which is Delaware County Community College resolution approving the purchase, finance, and construction of a major capital project to include the former Archbishop Prendergast High School. And it reads, Delaware County Community College has the opportunity to acquire the former Archbishop Prendergast property located at 403 North Lansing Avenue in Upper Darby. The college presently rents facilities for its Southeast Center and Sharon Hill and its Upper Darby Center in Upper Darby. Such educational facilities are limited in space and do not have the capacity to allow completions of programs without travel to a small campus, which is not conducive to properly retaining and educating its students. The Board of Trustees of the college has approved a capital project which includes the purchase of the land, repurposing and improvement of existing buildings, and the demolition of existing structures. The college intends to finance this capital project through the State Public School Building Authority by the issuance of debt and not to exceed 55 million with a final maturity not to exceed 20 years. The college requests approval of the William Penn School District Board of Directors to move forward with this project and financing plan. And the motion is to approve the resolution for the purchase, financing, and construction of a major capital project to include the construction, equipment, and financing of renovations to facilities to be purchased from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia on part of the land owned by the Archdiocese at 403 North Lansdowne Avenue, Upper Darby, and is financing through the state public school building authority by the issuance of debt not to exceed 55 million and not to exceed a final maturity of 20 years. And to say there is no debt to the district, so they just need an approval from the board to go ahead with the project.
May I have a second? We just need a second, then we can ask questions.
Who made the motion?
Second.
She makes the motion.
Okay.
Ms. Finney gets the second. Questions?
I was just going to state to the public, I don't know if everybody heard Ms. Richardson, but this is a great thing for people that probably weren't at the meeting. I just wanted to comment and just say they came to us for approval first to get our our blessing on their project. But if you know Delaware County Community College, they're having, if anybody didn't hear, making a branch where Prendy and Bonner's at. So they're taking that and they're making a Delaware County branch, which is very, very beneficial for our community. If I personally think it's a great thing when they came in here and presented. It was a really great project that they're working on. But the fact is, my biggest thing was, are you going to work with the community? And I think everybody on the board was asking the same thing. Is this facility going to be open to our communities? Because, a lot of people try to take buses to go all the way out Delaware County, out Marple, and it's far for some of our students and even adults that are trying to better themselves as well. So the fact that they're having this campus right where Bonner and Prendy will be very beneficial for us in a lot of different ways. And I like the fact, I hope they come out and present again, but it's something I really hope the community is here to see, because it was a phenomenal presentation. And just looking at the results of they're going to continue to grow. They're expecting a lot of enrollment. And I just think it's a great thing for some of our kids and adults that live locally, how they can be able to just walk to the campus.
Excuse me, I'd like to.
Wait, I'm going around the line here. Anything, Ms. Richardson? Go.
I appreciate Ms. Borkins, with her comments in reference to Delaware County Community College. I spoke to Dr. Joyce Blackgates this morning. She's the president of Delaware County Community College. And she was very concerned. She has all the votes. Delaware County Community College particularly needed our vote tonight. But she wanted our vote because she feels though the William Penn School District is very, very important to Delaware County Community College. And when I call her tomorrow, she would probably be ecstatic because she definitely wanted to support it. And ironically, we are the last one to submit the vote. And so, but she wanted our participation. And I'll let her know your comment that you made was worthwhile. And she definitely want to come back to make another presentation, so that's not a problem.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am?
I have a question on the bill list, if that's possible.
Sure.
Okay, there's a bill here, 8119, Upper Darby School District homeless tuition billing. Why is it stated Upper Darby? Could you answer that, Jeff?
Those are kids, Frank, these are the kids that,
They are homeless, or students who are,
or house or live
who
in.
live in Upper Darby or live here and go to Upper Darby, but we also bill for the homeless and,
In Upper Darby District.
so, or our foster children.
When you're homeless, you get to pick the school you're going to go to. So these are kids who are technically resting their head in this district,
Yeah.
but going to Upper Darby, so Upper Darby charges us tuition back. That really, and we do vice versa.
We
So
do
any
vice
student-
versa.
Alright, I'm a little concerned with that. What I can't find on here, and I was told, I haven't been in the meetings since July. It's been very hectic with my family. We got rid of a copier company, we got a new copier company.
Correct.
Can you please tell me how much we saved on the new copier company?
I would
Or is
look
it
it
pretty
up.
much, excuse me?
I have to look it up exactly what the difference is.
Can you look it up and get back to me?
Sure.
I have one more question. This has to do something with all the agenda, but I have to ask you after the whole thing, because I didn't get some information I asked for it in June when we did the budget, and I'm still waiting. So I'll talk to you and Jeff too about something outside of this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Tillman? Anything, Ms. Phillips? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? All right, there you go. Policy. Me. This is the first reading of revised policy 004-BOG2, 006, 201, 204, 208, 209, and 808. So please read them. They are on our website if you would like to, if the citizens would like to read them. But they're very important, so please give them a careful read. Can someone move this for me?
So
Motion. Thank you. Second. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
So I was just gonna ask, I know we haven't had a policy meeting lately,
Right.
and I'm still a little unsure of, okay, so I've read it, and for instance, you talked about attendance, and you talked about there's a new,
We're doing the scholarship over there, yes.
yes, so what I would think would have to be implemented into our attendance policy, correct?
It wouldn't necessarily, no. There's a difference between sort of building procedures, which can be written down, and board adopted policy.
So you wouldn't put that information in your?
You wouldn't have to.
Okay.
You could, but
I was
you
just
wouldn't have to.
asking.
Yeah.
Okay. So with regard to that, when the new policies
Right.
come up with regard to
Right.
revision, I know we talked about highlighting changes and things like that. If there is a recommendation for a change, that will be done at the policy, we would discuss at the policy meeting, but there hasn't been any
So
policy meeting.
it could also come to this meeting.
Okay.
But I'll be happy to, I am gonna start back up policy meetings.
Yeah, just because it's a few of them in here, like I just would like to discuss the attendance and the withdrawal of school a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna think, Dr. Bruno, that those are state.
Those are state
mandates.
mandates.
mandates. I explained that in the update when I included these policies in your update.
But not all PSBA recommended policy changes are mandatory. Some of them are required by changes in the law, some aren't. Ms. Boykins raises a good point. If you make a substantive change after the first reading, which you can do, you have to redo the first reading.
Right.
Which is
And that's
fine, you can totally do it.
Yeah. I was just asking,
Yeah.
based on, I understand these are from the state, but
You can give Dr. Bruno or myself a call if you see like a huge red flag.
Okay.
And then it would just move it to 2 more, and that's fine.
Okay,
That's actually perfect.
no problem. Thank you.
All right? Any other questions on policy? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? All right, solicitors report.
There was no executive session this evening, but there was an executive session on August 19th.
Great. And that,
Was-
executive session was on.
Specifically on the superintendent.
Thank you. Any old business, Mr. Coe?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we do have new business.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
The board is that we
Not if it's not on the agenda.
We're discussing, I'm a little confused.
You can, it's going to be one or the other. You
Okay.
can do it as new
So
business or.
what is the topic?
The pre-K, and everything,
Right.
I'm a little confused. I think there's a request made in July in reference to holding a meeting for the parents and 56th graders to go over whether or not they find this acceptable. Are we having this meeting for the parents?
So in my report tonight, Mr. Wright, I referred to that we were waiting to get rooms ready so the parents could see. The rooms are ready, the teachers are in, they're ready to teach there. And we are, the parents will be invited in on Wednesday night. They will get to see the rooms, and I will be there to discuss with them.
So letters were sent out for the parents?
The parents will have they will, same as sneak peek. It is the same, we were not able to do it prior to sneak peek because of the work that needed to be done.
But did the parents get a letter on them moving to the portables?
Yes.
Yes.
So the letters already sent out before the parents were notified?
To inform them that their classes would be in the portables, yes.
And what class?
6th grade.
The 6th grade would be, and the parents was okay with that?
I don't know if they're okay or not, Mr. Wright.
Excuse me.
And what time would that take place?
It's 6 to 8 on Wednesday. 6:30 to 8:30, thank you. I'll be there at 6 to.
And to make this clear, can you go over the schools that were selected?
For preschool?
Yes.
Currently, the only classrooms that will be receiving preschool right now is Evans.
Not all the street or Conway?
Not at this moment because I don't know if they even received the expansion money or not. This was just something that they agreed to do even without the expansion money.
But Walnut Street and Evans had the space where we didn't have to renovate a trailer. They had vacancies.
Walnut and
No, Walnut and Cowan, Walnut and Cowan. Previously it was stated that they had available space.
They do, but they did not expand. They wanted the classrooms at Evans. And that is the classrooms that are most suitable for our preschool program.
And it was to also make up, correct me if I'm wrong, it was to make up for the loss of Head Start in Yaden also.
Yes.
Right, because Yaden took a huge loss losing Head Start.
And if I'm correct, Kyle, when we really, with regard to space, it was an issue because we would have to move the 6th graders, I believe, to the basement area. It was like we had to figure out where to move
We would have had to move.
classrooms around.
Well, we would have had to move somebody on the first floor because you
Yeah.
really want preschoolers on the first floor.
So then that was the question that Jane had even asked me, like, what if people, what are people want to say if you have the kids?
Same thing at Walnut, we would have had to move some classrooms around.
Yeah. So I can say for Colwyn knew about it. We knew, she did talk to me a little bit about what decisions had to be made for Colwyn.
So I think this is a great opportunity for our community.
For the record, I discussed with someone today, no one that I'm aware of had any problem with pre-K or kindergarten. We were just concerned about the process and also the involvement of the parents. Because as I said, you heard it many times, 2000, I fought for kindergarten, full-time kindergarten in school district, we didn't have it. So, and also for 5-6 years ago, hopefully that we would have pre-K. But I'm concerned that about the process, about the parents being involved, how it's going to be selected, who's going to be in charge, who's going to be staffed there. And a lot of those questions, like you said, is up in the air.
The Delaware County Intermediate Unit will be running our preschool program.
Their preschool program.
Their preschool,
Our
yes,
building.
with our students.
Can I just?
I'm sorry, are you done, Mr. Wright?
Oh, yes, I'm finished.
Okay.
I feel with Mr. Wright, we talk about transparency, and we talk about it. I am all for pre-K. I wish we could have pre-K in every one of our schools. My problem is I'm hearing feedback from people, well, adults and parents, they don't like the fact that their 6th grades moving to the trailers. And the pre-K is going to be in the school. And I'm aware that DCIU is running this. They're going to hire the people to teach their children the pre-K. I also get where if there's a nurse involved, pre-K, they're right there.
Right.
Okay? But our problem, like, I see what Mr. Wright said. This was mentioned way before these buildings. I think we really need to reach out to our communities and tell the parents, we're gonna possibly move your 6th grade kids into the trailers. The reason being, we have a great thing going on with DCIU to put a pre-K. And that's what I think.
We did try to do some of that PR, so I would encourage all of you to please come see the portables on Wednesday night. We have new furniture in there, we've painted, new carpet. They are now in air conditioned where they were never in an air conditioned class before. We are putting up the smart boards for them to have out there. And they're also going with the new curriculum. They are going to be doing the Wonders program. And that, it would have been more of an issue when we were doing Success for All, where they traded classes, but now they're self-contained for the reading. Mrs. Breaker and before Miss Ambrose did a nice job of looking at the schedule to make sure that these children do not have to go back and forth. They put in a wonderful sidewalk, a sidewalk that takes them right over. They will never have to really get into the mud. We've been transporting kids over there for the past 4 or 5 years to go to the gym over there they've been walking through that field. Now we're going to have a partial sidewalk. It doesn't take them right to the gymnasium. But I think we have to look at, we have had children in portables in this district for years. This is not brand new. We had children who were in, when our high school was overcrowded, we've had the children in the portables there. We have had kindergarten students in portables at Park Lane. At Ardmore, our kindergarten classrooms were in portables for years until we did the renovations over there. So this is nothing new for our communities, and we will make sure we've done the lighting. We've asked I've got the security officers who know their route and to walk over there and make sure things are safe. I actually talked with the teachers today, and Ms. Wagner said, I kind of like it.
You know, I totally agree with what you're saying, because at the previous meeting, a lot of people had questions about the portables, and some people were calling them trailers, and they were trying to bring clarity.
Now we're calling them 6th grade suites.
Now we're calling them suites, but we were trying to bring some clarity. One parent stood up and she said, trailers, oh my God, you're putting kids in trailers? And then another person stood up, and it's just, thinking of a trailer, it doesn't give a kind of a nice look when you say the word trailer. So then we started to use modular, and then now we're at portable, and now we're at suites. But what I can tell you is that, if you know the history of William Penn School District, yeah, we have used modulars before. I think the point is that Mr. Wright is trying to get to is maybe we need to have a Q&A with DCIU and parents be able to come in and talk to the DCIU to see what they're offering. I think that what he's talking about is transparency on that part of what's happening. As you stated before, this is not our program. They're just utilizing our buildings. So we didn't have as much information, I think, as the parents wanted. So I think Mr. Wright is trying to explain that we need to get DCIU in here to answer those pertinent questions possibly. And, we go from there, because the sneak peek is going to help itself. I think the word trailer just put the bad sore eyes on it. But, I think that's what, if you correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wright, but I think that's what you're trying to refer to.
Again, I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us as a school district. We will be servicing our students. I know that they have tried very hard to make sure that they are servicing the students from Yaden.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, when we get to the end.
I guess the point that I was making is we keep repeating ourselves. What I mean is, if we know that we're not transparent, we know we're not communicating, we seem to keep doing this over and over again. This is not the first time the decision was made without really having consulting with the public. 5 to 6 years ago, we were looking at a kindergarten center.
All right.
We finished now, but I'm saying is, but we keep repeating ourselves. We should have learned from that situation with the kindergarten center that was going to be at Alden, that wasn't discussed with the Alden parents, the teachers, and the community, and the 5 of the borough. We should have learned from that. So I think it's, like I said, yes,
pre-K, kindergarten, the kindergarten center, if the public agreed to that, that would be fantastic. But what I'm saying is, and I can believe 9 out of 10 times if you communicate with the public, they will probably buy into it. But we keep repeating ourselves and make decisions without communicating with the taxpayers and the parents.
So I get it, you've been heard, I see it a little differently. I'm sure we could ask a lot of people for a lot of opinions, but we're gonna move on right now, okay?
But thank you for your input.
Thank
Yes.
you, yes. Okay. New business. PSBA officer elections for 2020. President-elect Art Levinowitz. There'll be a motion there. B is Vice President, one term, David Hine. Insurance Trust Board term, Mark Miller and Kathy Swoop. Trustees Jennifer Davidson, Crystal Mance, Beth Ann Ziegler, and J.B. Lynn. Sir, I'm not even gonna try. Zarmowski. And the motion, there'll be, can I call these all as one?
With the consent of the board.
Yeah, may I call these motions all as one?
Something else, you move them all.
This one says 3, and you've got 4.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna call them all separately. You will notice that Delaware County is not represented. School board directors in our area should take it upon themselves to get more active in PSBA, because we would love to see some Delaware County. I think we will soon. The last PSBA event, Mr. Tong and I went last week. It was well attended by Delaware County. So we just need to keep our folks, our school board directors going to these meetings. Right now, William Penn, Radnor, and Garnet Valley are mostly the school boards from Delaware County that are represented at these things. So the first motion is to elect Art Levinowitz as president-elect of PSBA for 2020. May I have a motion to move? May I have a second? Any questions?
I don't know these people. I think they
I
should
haven't
come here. They want my vote, you gotta come here.
Okay, then you can abstain, but I happen to know
Yeah.
Mr. Levinowitz, and I like what I've seen. All those in favor? Anyone against?
Opposed?
You're opposed?
I'm against.
Okay, Ms. Fitty stands against. Motion for Vice President, one term, David Hine. May I have a move?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against?
Me.
Okay.
I don't know any of these people.
Okay, you could have looked them up. Insurance Trust Board term ends December 31st. Mark B. Miller and Kathy Swoop. May I have a move?
So move.
Thank you. Tag team over there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Ms. Fitty?
And I could look them up, but I shouldn't have to.
Okay. There's 501 school districts. It would be very hard for them to get to all of us.
Yeah,
But I understand.
Look at all this paper that comes in my house. Please save the trees.
Okay, trustee, school board secretaries form steering committee, we need to choose 3. Ms. Boykins, do you have a suggestion?
Yes, I looked up, I'm sorry, Crystal Manis from Cheltenham Township, Jennifer Davidson from Manheim, and also Jamie Lee Zamrowski.
Very good, you did much better at that last name than mine. So, upon Ms. Boykins' suggestion, we're gonna,
Let's make it a motion.
I was just, trustee, choosing up to 3 would be Jennifer Davidson, Crystal Mance, and J.B. Lynn Zarmowski.
A second.
I need a move and a second.
Well, she moved it.
Okay,
I'll second.
great. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Ms. Fitty is against. Mr. Wright, thank you all. Mr. Wright, any report from Delaware County Community College?
I'm thanking the board and administration for supporting the Delaware County Community College project. we will have our annual school board superintendent appreciation dinner Wednesday, October 30th. And if anybody, any board member would like to attend, you can call the president's office 610-359-5288.
All right, that's it, Mr. Wright?
Oh, that's it.
I'm just checking my calendar, I'm pretty sure I put that in there. There you go. Intermediate union, Ms. Fitty.
Yes, I haven't attended a meeting in a month or so because of family situations.
Right.
They're having a ribbon cutting soon, I don't know the date offhand.
And that's at the Aston facility.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
Got it.
They really beat up the holes. I mean, the school is offering a lot to our children. I did take a tour before July. We're gonna have a ribbon ceremony, which I will go to. And I would like to ask the Aston Tech to come to a job fair. Really, because if you're not gonna go to college, there's no reason why you can't work with your hands, okay? And I want them to come to show the packets, what they have to offer our children and our young adults, and they can look it up. So, but that's my report. I'm sorry for I've been absent.
Great.
So Ms. Fitty, it's September the 4th.
Yes,
From 4:30 to 5:30.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harbert. Delaware County Legislative Council, there's a whole bunch of legislative stuff going on. Mr. Tong and I went to an IDEA, PSBA conference last week. The local senators Congress people are supporting, right? It was Congress, right? Congress people are supporting it. And we are working on a list of non-local Congress people that are not supporting it. If you don't know, IDA used to reimburse for special ed services at 40%. And they are down to about 12% right now. That means it's up to the local taxpayer to make up the difference. Our stance is that the federal government needs to pick it back up. But our local representatives are all signed up. There's a new rule that if we get 280 supporters of the bill, that it needs to be called for a vote automatically. It's an automatic trigger. So we will be getting that list, and then we will ask you to reach out to your friends who live in those areas, right? Because you calling, they don't care. But we all have friends, and we all need a social network and get our friends in those areas to call their congresspeople and make them accountable. So there'll be lots of conversations about that. And the next Legislative Council meeting is September 11th. I will be building a playground, but they will get me notes. All right. Comments from citizens regarding non-agenda items. Yes, ma'am. Your name, please state.
Loren Johnson.
And where you live. Not the street address, just the community.
Loren Johnson, Yaden.
Great, thank you.
I was wondering if you all could speak with the administration at Delaware Community College and ask them if they could possibly bring in more classes. What I'm trying to say is oftentimes they have certain colleges far out that they don't have locally.
Right. So,
Real estate would be one where children that are not going to college might want to get into. Speak to them about maybe bringing 2 or 3 classes from the main site to this new site. I think it would be very helpful.
yeah, so that's one of the beautiful things about this new site is Delaware County looked at their where their students live and found out they live basically over here, and they had a whole dot chart for us. So we are hoping that with that new facility, many classes will be coming over.
And
I can answer that. At the presentation, that was some of the recommendations that I made about classes that I've seen years ago, Guardian and all. I do remember they had a real estate class in the Darden. So what I would recommend, give me a list and I can forward it to Dr. Black.
fantastic, thank you. And also, what Mr. Wright was saying about the trailer, the module, the suite.
Thank you.
Is you have to, listen, parents are taxpayers. You have to involve them at the beginning, not at the end. It has not been inclusive, is what he's saying. And you can't wait until something is finished to then say, oh, we'll bring the parents in now and let them take a look at it. You gotta rethink that. You really do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Anyone in the first row? Yes, Ms. Wright.
Yes.
Mrs. Wright.
Good evening. I just wanted to say that I'm very pleased that the board has approved the project with the Delaware County Community College, because as you mentioned, Monique, and as you mentioned, Mr. Wright, and it's a great opportunity for students to not have to travel to the campus, the Marple campus, but they'll be able to get the classes, which will lead them to their 2-year associate's degree, which for many will lead to their partnership with their 4-year degree. So I'm happy that we are supportive that the program is going to be closer for our students.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. Great. Anyone else in the first row? Second row? Third row?
Good evening, Penny McDonald in Yading. And my question was pertaining to the job description for the superintendent. Hopefully, it's recorded somewhere where the taxpayers can look at it. And the other thing that I had in mind was that the job description would include some sort of success record. I was noticing something on Facebook. It was talking about a high school in Detroit, of all places, where they had a very, very high success rate of kids, inner city kids, going to college. And so I deduced that the superintendent, had a handle on things. So we don't just want someone who has the degree. We want someone with experience that understands the different cultures and also have some experience with methods to try to reach people where they are. So I'm hoping that that's included in the job description.
Thank you.
Thank
And Isaac Dotson, Yaden. My question is, first I'd like to applaud Kaboom and partnering with the school district to build a playground. But I participated in the program for Evans School. I dug the holes, cement the whole thing. But I live across the street and I've watched it deteriorate over the years. So my question to the board is, do you have within your budget money set aside to manage those playgrounds after Kaboom and other organizations contribute money to have them built? There is, without being critical, there hasn't been any planting in the flower boxes. The things that the kids climb up is in a corner. The stage is flat to the ground. The mulch is dry and horrible looking. The trees look nice. But I'm asking that if they are going through this much trouble to help us, what is our skin in the game in terms of maintaining it? And I've watched on a regular basis the kids playing, and it seems to be that they're condensed in a small area. And these kids are very active. So on the one hand, I appreciate it. On the other hand, is it well thought out in terms of the age, the activity level, the excitement? Is that part of the plan when they come and offer assistance to the William Penn School District?
It actually is a part of the plan. We do have to write up a maintenance part of the plan. That particular playground is used about 14 hours a day, as I'm sure you know. After we leave, St. Michael's comes over and uses it too. So it does, the interesting thing, and you're right, Mr. Dotson, what we've learned is the people that are there that make the plan, and we've seen this in the 3 playgrounds before, Ardmore and Park Lane, there really needs to be a staff person that's consistent to just walk around it and make sure that everything is right. Now I know that Airmark's doing their mulch in the near future, but it does take a village. You're not incorrect in any way. it does take a village, and we need to, I will make a point to walk around and talk to Ms. Breaker about it, but at some point, the staff and the home and school does need to take over the process. We do have a little money set aside for playground maintenance, but we need to be better stewards of our materials also, in my opinion.
I just had a question. Is this something that offline we could later on talk to Aramark about with, like, you know, he said something is in the playground, is on the, over to the, on the corner.
Yeah.
Is it something that they can tighten up some of the equipment for? Is something we can have a further, maybe a facilities meeting or something
Yeah,
like
like
that?
Park Lane did a fundraiser and added to theirs. It's just about that consistency, but yes, we should look at that.
Just ask
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, I've heard talk of planting
Yeah.
around Evans.
So let home and school get them.
Yeah, I've been hearing conversations on that front. So.
That lady was raising her hand,
Okay, I'm gonna get to
but
her.
I will ask a question after.
Okay. Are you done, Mr. Dodson?
You know, only to the extent that I've been coming to the meetings, and I don't want to belabor the point, but if you listen to us, and there's a lot of mistrust, one of the ways I think we can bridge this in terms of value, and we complain about our school being at the bottom, or second from the bottom, or third from the bottom. Quality of life is a very important thing in our communities. And to have a little money set aside, and I know there's not a lot, I know about school funding and whole routine, but the emphasis has to be on quality of life and academics for our children. And I don't think that, I know you guys are volunteers, but the idea that not only aren't they succeeding at a high rate, but the environment that they're playing in is not conducive to quality of life. So it needs to be important that you understand that these kids come from certain situations, and if they can have a place that really looks nice, and it really is a nice place to play, and they can run and scream and jump, and you're absolutely right. Being where I live, they come on Sundays, they come on Saturdays. I've picked up trash there, I've picked up trash outside of the building, so I'm a participant. I'm not here to complain. I'm simply saying that there has to be consistency between academics and quality of life as relates to our children. And when I say our children, I mean children who look like me, only because they come from sometimes such desperate situations that they need a place that they can honestly go and play and jump and scream and holler, dance. So when you say we have a little money aside in home and school, it doesn't really cut it for me, because we have to really get on board with our children. That's all we really have. Thank you for your time.
My name is Elaine Carter, and I live in Dayton. I've been a resident there for over 30 years. My home was paid for 20 years ago. I'm struggling to try to stay there with the school taxes. I want you to think about it. When you raise the taxes for seniors, I'm 86 years old. I want to stay in my house. I don't want to go into a senior place or wherever I can afford. I really can't afford to live where I'm living, and I'm really struggling. I want you to think about it when you want to raise our taxes. No one comes to our meetings and tell us about what's going on here. So, you know, we have to come to the school board to find out what's going on. And I'm still not hearing anything about seniors and the taxes.
So, may I ask, are you a part of the homestead rebate program?
Yes.
Okay, great. I always just like to check.
Yes.
You're a
But I'm
hundred.
still not.
And no
Very
excuses. We need to call the legislators and ask them to move away. Great, great. And we should all be doing that on behalf of all of our seniors. They need to move away from funding schools on property taxes. Exactly for folks like you. And
I understand in Philadelphia, they have a different system when the seniors don't pay the taxes.
Philadelphia is unique among all school districts. They're governed.
Unique.
The state lets Philadelphia be unique. It won't let us be.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right, and really, seniors, go knock on your legislators' doors and say enough. There are many proposals sitting in the House and the Senate right now to change how we fund schools. And they just keep on pushing them down the road. They refuse to vote on them. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. But we all know we need to move off of property taxes. Thank you very much.
May I say one other thing?
As soon as I get to the rest of the room. Does anyone else have any comments? Briefly.
Okay. I would like to challenge you all to go to media and find out how many people have lost their homes under the umbrella of William Penn School District. And have lost their homes, and especially, I want to particularly point out Yaden, because Yaden does not have a business privilege tax.
None of us do.
Lansdowne doesn't have a business privilege tax, so it's all under William Penn School District?
So we're all the same. Yaden, East Lansdowne, and Darby collect an earned income tax.
Okay.
The other three communities do not. There is no business privilege tax in any of our communities.
In any?
And no, and that would do nothing for funding of schools anyway. That would fund our boroughs, not our schools.
Yeah, I'm saying, but still, it's such a hard burden. The taxes in Yaden are ridiculous.
Well, the taxes
everywhere.
The
taxes in Lansdowne is really high. It depends on what borough.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Let's just demystify the whole thing.
Okay.
We all pay the same rate of taxes for school taxes. Your community taxes, your borough taxes, excuse me, front row. Ms. Moore.
Talking about the cost of the taxes, I said until something is done, it's not going to change.
Right, but let's back up a second, because there is misunderstanding and I hear it all the time. You have your county taxes, that pays for your county stuff. We have no control over that. You have your borough taxes, which pays for borough stuff. We have no control over that. We do a school tax the same rate for every community. Now, if your house is worth $40,000, you're going to pay one sum. If your house is worth $150,000, you're going to pay a different sum, right? Because it's based on the value of your home. That's what kills seniors, right? Because your home is worth $80,000. It's your family wealth. And they tax it, and they tax it unmercifully. And there's nothing we can do about that. So for me, the board is really stuck. We want a quality education. We want more money aside for quality of life things, as Mr. Dotson expresses. And on the other hand, we have to go to the citizens, seniors, poor, and other citizens for that money.
Well, why not, it's early, why not start some sort of events or fundraisers that can help with this situation?
We can do that, but those aren't going to pay a $96 million school bill. All of our activities, our football team, our mock trial, they all fundraise for anything else that they want other than sticks and bricks, as I call it, the basic stuff. If a football team wants a hoodie, they fundraise for it, right? If mock trial wants a hoodie, they fundraise it. We'll give them a bus, we'll give them the pads, we'll give them the fancy new helmets that they deserve and need. But everything else is up to them. If they go to camp over the summer, they pay for it, right? So nothing here is, it's different in other places, right? And what you also need to know is a mill is worth $400,000 here. When we raise taxes, we get $400,000 out of a mill. How are you gonna guess how much that mill is worth in Radnor? How much is that same mill worth? It's worth $1 million. You're right, Ms. Johnson. It's worth $1 million. So right from jump, our citizens are at a disadvantage. We have to tax 2.5 times the amount to raise the same money as Radnor does. That's malarkey, right? Like, that doesn't work. But we can't change that here. Now, individually, do we call our representatives? Absolutely. but we can't change it. It takes the populace to change how we fund schools. Call your senators, call your House of Representatives and say, we're done. Find a different way. Now, there's been proposals, right? When Wolf first came in, it was to slash the tax 52% and raise the personal income tax wages 1.5%. They could not kill that soon enough, right? Whoever it was could not kill it soon enough. Now, we need something like that, but it's not going to happen in this room. It's about all of us calling our legislators, and we don't call them enough. We can't write them letters anymore. We can't email them. We need to call them all the time, once a week. That secretary should know who you are, right? Because that's the only way. And there's lots of plans. You can Google Pennsylvania changing how we tax. Lots of stuff comes up.
But please, just be considerate of our seniors.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're on fixed incomes, and
Absolutely.
it's not much they can do.
No one around this table likes tax season. Let me assure you. There's stomach aches and agita all the way around. Because we're stuck. We're stuck. And just like Mr. Dotson says, quality education, quality of life. And without funding, it's hard to do. It's super hard to do. And that's not, anyone in this room's fault. It's the populace. And if you really want to get sick to your stomach, Google Pennsylvania Hold Harmless.
What is it?
Pennsylvania Hold Harmless Law. Google it. That means when you're in a district and your Air Force base moves out, you get paid for the same amount of children you had when that Air Force base was there. Right? Sounds sort of crazy, right? Right, because the kids left. But that's another thing you can look at. Pennsylvania Hold Harmless. That's an even tougher nut to crack. This boy can.
Fiddy had. Now, I gotta go. You answered your question, I'll be last. I gotta go.
Sorry, I'm sorry, the tax thing got me going.
No, and I think that's what she wants to talk about.
Okay.
I'll go after you.
All right.
I hear you. I work with the tax delinquents with the county. I don't have to do it, but I do it. Why? I know I lost 30 people in my East Lansdowne that had lose their house. The numbers are getting higher. I look at Yaden, I look at East Lansdowne, I look at Lansdowne, I look at Darby, I look at Calvin, I look at all 6 boroughs. I didn't bring the paperwork tonight, but the numbers are getting higher. I feel it's a shame that we have to put a burden on our senior citizens. My mom was there, okay? Well, I'm from Yaden, and East Lansdowne. The problem is when they raise the tax increase, yes, we need money. We don't have a tax base, we don't. But the problem is, if we raise it here, okay, just say in another area, I'm not gonna mention towns right now because I'll start another argument, all right? They might not be assessed as high as the other town, and the other town, and da. So these other towns get hurt more because you're assessed more. Now, what I was told, I met with someone prior before we've been having kind of turmoil, that some people have went and got their house reassessed before they raised taxes. Well, you can do that. Problem is, if your house is better than when you bought it, your tax is going to go up. So it's darn if you do and darn if you don't, okay? The numbers are really bad. And when I got guys losing his house over $40,000, it's utterly ridiculous. So I'm working on a plan. I do call my legislators. As a matter of fact, I met with Anthony Williams 2 weeks ago. And I talked to him about meeting with Mr. Kearns and all other new people in regards to helping our seniors. Because you guys, all of you are getting the brunt of everything. And it's not fair because as your health care, as your payment for Social Security goes up $20, your health care just went up $15. So really you're only gaining $500. Okay, and that's what's happening. But I'm not going to try to get off that track. Believe me, I want to get your number and your number before I leave. I need to stay focused on one thing. I wasn't here in July. We lost our main, Mike Simmons, for the supervisor of security. I'm very sad. That gentleman was going to try to save the district 1.2 mils. That's really hard. That's hard to chew on. Lansdowne called me. They're going to do something with this waterway. And they wanted our support. They needed 5 votes. And it was a $95 grant, $95,000 grant, but it could go higher. My question to the gentleman called me, because he wasn't very forthcoming at a meeting I went to prior. He was very rude to me. But I don't stoop that level. Why is it that they need our approval when it was their land?
So it was a grant application.
Okay, I get that.
Of zero cost to us. And most grants like to have the neighboring organizations' approval or letter of support.
Letter of support.
A letter of support. So it doesn't cost us anything. The property has influence on Ardmore Avenue and flooding. So, and it wasn't a votable.
Well, I talked to the gentleman on the phone and I wasn't very, don't get my Italian up. Okay. With that said and done,
right?
A methadone clinic opened in Union Ave, up in Auburn. We had no say over the matter, but it's up and running. Okay, I'm very, very ticked off with that. David, in June we made the budget. I asked you a question, and I still have not gotten your return. Hold on, it's
But
my.
I know, but you.
I'm all over the place. That's because I've been out
Right,
since June.
because we're gonna let Ms. Boykins, I think Ms. Boykins had a statement to make about the taxpayer issue.
Yes,
And then I'll come back to you.
I just had 2 things to say. Miss Penny, don't leave. Actually, I was actually
That's
going
Ms. McDonald.
This is my mother. I'm gonna get her.
Oh, I have a jacket right here.
You're Miss. Your name is Miss Penny, right?
McDonald.
Miss McDonald. Okay, I didn't know your last name. I'm sorry for that. I just wrote down when you were speaking. I just made sure I wrote down your name so I could remember.
Okay.
Just something you said. You were saying that you hope that we pick a superintendent that has a good background with college success rate. And you were talking about where you can find the job description. And I just wanted to just reiterate and just to let you know that college success rate is very important for us. We just had a workshop with the DCIU with regard to our superintendent search. And when we were there, she sat down with us and asked us individually what are the important things and what we wanted to see out of superintendent. And there were certain things that we went through each individual board member. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm letting you know that we're putting great thought and understanding into this process, and it's good to understand what the community is asking for as well, but also to know that we have the same thought process when it comes to, we want someone that has a great success rate as well, that understands with regard to college acceptance and being ready for college. Something else that we looked into was cultural awareness, so I just want you to know from our last meeting that everyone attended, we did hear your voice and we made sure we made those changes to the survey that was being handed out as well. And we also, she wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. So everything, each board of direct was asked certain questions about their expectations from a superintendent. So I just wanted to give you a little comfort.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
One of the things that I just wanted to share is that when I moved into the community of Yaden over 35 years ago, we moved to Yaden because it's William Penn School District. And my girls, they went there and they went to college and they married, folks from college. And they're doing well. But that's not happening now. People are not moving into our community because of the schools. They're moving to Lower Marion. They're moving, in other neighborhoods, other communities. I want Delaware County William Penn School District to get their reputation back. And so that's why I say it's extremely important that we find somebody.
Totally agree.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Perception and image. And I just have to say, it kind of like, when people say we're not doing that now, I just have to, I graduated in 2002, right? And there's kids that have graduated 14, 15, 16 that I've worked with personally that are doing exceptionally well. And sometimes just to hear when people say that our kids aren't, going back to what Mr. Dobson said with regard to success, our kids are graduating successfully and they're doing great. They're doing great, and it's a shame sometimes that a lot of that does not get highlighted. When negativity occurs, negativity gets exposed, and that's what you hear about the most. But I just want to reassure you, there are plenty of children that are coming through our district that are doing exceptionally well. Not just student athletes, just the student itself. And I just spoke with one yesterday, Maccabi Keena. She's doing really good. She's about to now. She went to Temple. Now she's going to St. Joe's. And it's just a lot of them. And I just want to say that sometimes our perception, and I do understand that's something that William Penn School District has to work on, is the perception and the image. And this is something that we're looking at for a superintendent. That was a question that was raised about, and I don't mean to be long-winded, Board of Directors. I just wanted to reassure her and the people that are speaking today that we are headed in the right direction of what we're doing. That's all.
Got it. And if you want to see some positivity, come to a football game, and the alumni are amazing.
You'll see
there.
several graduates. I mean,
in my class in 2015.
Even right now, said again. Are you?
I said my son.
Oh yes,
2015. Grad school tomorrow.
It's just you'll see alumni. We're actually working on coming back. Last year for the first day of school, we welcomed everyone in, and we're actually trying to get more alumni to come back because I am a scientist and I pride myself on it because coming from William Penn School District, people would not think that from where we're from. Our image and what people think about our area. But there are a lot of educated people, young ladies, young men that are graduating from William Penn School District and doing exceptionally well. So I hope we can change that stigma, and I hope that you'll continue to come and see positive things that our district is doing. Thank you.
I just have comments. We just hired a teacher, who graduated in 2009.
Okay.
Who will be at Ardmore Elementary. She will be our second grade teacher over there. So I agree with you. We have a lot of success. We're just not publishing it. The other thing is, folks, when you talk about the taxes, I want to say how proud I am of the William Penn School District that we are willing to go and fight this fair funding lawsuit. No one knows all of the work that my staff has done in order to get ready with the discovery and all the materials, all the depositions that we've been through, but we're there fighting to fight this hold harmless. And we're fighting some of our own legislators, Terzai and Scarnetti. Their lawyers treat me like I am dirt because they don't want to lose any of the money and send it to the William Penn School District.
Yeah.
So it is, I have to say, I am very proud that this district is willing to do this fight. There were only 6 school districts that were willing to do it, and we were the first. So I have to say, I'm very proud of us.
Hold on. I'll take you and then we'll go back to Ms. Fitting. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. Behind you.
Somebody else.
Sorry.
Is it me? Is it you or her, she or me?
You are in the back.
Yes.
You with the hat.
Yes.
Or that.
Me with the hat, yes.
Leave it where you live.
Okay, I'm Tony Smiley from Yaden. What I want to know is that the more affluent communities, are they experiencing or seeing tax situation for elders and for everybody as maybe in areas around it?
Well, a family of wealth, yes. No one likes when you raise taxes across the board, right? If they raise them in Radnor, they get the same stuff we get here. But do they have more to give? Absolutely. And they're willing to put that bill on their home to raise their child's, level of education. So yes, like when we talk about fair funding, now there are other districts that won in our lawsuit, right? And now where were you 6 years ago, right? Yes, the same fuss about, and really the change off of property taxes is being fueled by the communities of wealth, right? Because they're not interested in paying on their homes.
So when I moved to Yale 35 years ago, my kids, I sent them to private school. And Evans was amazing. I mean, everybody wanted their kids to go to Evans. It was a magnet school, it was fabulous, and it's nothing like that.
Evans is a really good school.
But it's not anything like, I'm telling you, I used to, I know people who taught there, I know what you're saying.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be 100%
Let her
the same.
It was not, I don't care what anybody says, it was nothing like it was. Then, it was superb. And a lot of people didn't send their children to private schools because the Penn School District was so spectacular. It certainly is not now. And I sent my children to private school because I went to a private school. My mother sent us, and my kids were smart and savvy, and I wanted them to have the best. And at the time, I could afford it. But who can afford all that now? You know, and all I'm saying is, I'm thinking in terms of people who don't have money to spare. Who has money to spare? Do you know what I'm saying? And you do, as Isaac said, everybody wants their children, every normal human being wants their children to have a good education in the environment to be conducive for learning. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do understand that.
You know, my girlfriend was in charge of a whole thing. In fact, she was in Ebony for HIV, and she chose all of us, her friends, to be in this situation, to teach the children about HIV and all these other situations. We went to a school in Trenton. The teachers' lobbies were dripping with water. I mean, it was how conducive is that for somebody to learn? And I had to teach a class. And when I went into that class, I had to get ordered before I could even start teaching because they were totally unruly. But you know what, when I gave them that love and attention and spoke to them, they stopped. When I got to troublemakers, gave them jobs to do, to feel important, they stopped. You know, I don't see any of that going on today.
You know, for me, so we've talked about negativity for the last 20 minutes. And we've talked, and Evans is a great school. And there's great professionals there doing their job. And I would love us to spend as much time on positivity as we have negativity. I can, get your number and show you families that have believed in us and kids have been here since 12th grade, since kindergarten, and now they're in 12th. It's a question of what we're willing to do and how we're willing to speak. Let's speak positively. No, it is good. It actually works. If we look, have you been in Evans in the last 5 years? Yes. Okay. So, and you could find positivity there also, right?
I'm not saying, I don't believe that nothing is all negative.
Okay.
And nothing is all positive. I understand that. I'm just saying, I lived here all this time and I see the difference and it is a big difference.
There have been a lot of things.
I was going to make. You said you moved in 35 years ago. I'm 36, so I've been in Yale, born and raised all my life. Okay, so I just originally, when I came back, moved to Colwyn. So when you talk about Evans, like around, that was the time I was there. I went to Alden. Okay, my grandma picked Alden over Evans. My sister went to Evans. And what I'm just trying to explain is that you're absolutely right. Have things changed? Yes, overall though, not just here. A lot. We have social media now. We didn't have that. So the reason why I'm adding those things in is because education also was different back then. So we are trying to progress and make changes, as much changes as possible. And I'll urge you, because after this meeting, I'm going to be announcing the education meeting. Come on out so I can hear definitely what you have to say and things that, for instance, any type of negativity, I want to try to hone into it and fix those things that you're saying, because if you have, like you said, you've been there in the last 5 years, we want to make those changes, so definitely come out to our education meeting so we can talk about those things. I would love to have you. And we can sit and talk for an hour, 2 hours. I would love to fix it because the negative narrative it bothers me because I'm a graduate and I think about this, everybody sitting here, but to the core it bothers me. I'm not gonna lie, because I want our school, we want our school and district to be looked at, and we hear great things every meeting. You hear great things, and it just seems like only the negative comes through sometimes. Okay.
Great.
Well, great. We'll start with education meeting. Thank you.
We want to leave number
Did you want to
2 and
speak?
get to
Hold on,
number
hold
8.
on.
Yes.
That's what we want to do.
I got you.
I just had a statement,
Okay,
a
so-
question.
Okay, we need your name though.
Annette Johns,
Right.
I've been a resident of Yaden for about 35 years. And my statement is, I do believe it's a difference in being culturally aware versus being culturally competent. And in the search for a superintendent, just being aware is not enough.
No, it's not.
It should be someone who is culturally competent and to follow through appropriately. Then, I don't have a lot of information about this, but do you have some kind of survey that you can make reference to and look at outcomes? Do you have any students that we know of who are serving in the career of maybe nuclear science, engineering,
We in fact do.
information like that?
We in fact do.
Okay, and I think that's important information to be aware of and what's happening for, like you said, people are involved and they've done different things. So it would be good to use them as inspiration to future students.
We agree.
And looking at the curriculum based on offering that type of career.
Yeah, we agree.
That's what I don't know about.
Yeah.
But I'm definite about cultural competence.
You got it.
That's an issue.
You got it.
And I noticed that at the last meeting when the, I forgot her name. Yes.
Edinburgh, yeah.
She has some issues. She's not culturally competent. And I'm just making a statement. That's my assessment of how she presented at the last meeting. So that's an issue with the research and the outcome of this survey that she's going to do.
Glenn, I want you to know she heard you, because let me tell you what we said.
She didn't hear me because I didn't speak on it.
Anybody that brought up, hear what I'm saying, anyone that brought up cultural awareness, because this was brought up at our last meeting, and no one agreed with it, exactly what you're saying. They said, we cannot use that term. So at our next meeting, what did she do? She changed the terminology. So our survey has been updated.
Does it say cultural competence?
It's I can actually look it up and find out for you, but I do know it was changed, the terminology was changed, because everyone that was in the community was stating there's a difference between cultural awareness and cultural competence.
We didn't get a copy
So,
of the last draft before it comes out to everyone.
we're gonna have a meeting September.
So the next subcommittee meeting and communications going out about this week will be September 9th. And, but before that, we want to be able to send out the survey, especially for feedback from anyone who was there, to make sure it, aligns with the feedback to the best that, they can for taking it.
Well, you have the language. Is the language cultural competencies?
I don't have it in front of me right now, but we can double check for you. And
What time is the
we'll be
meeting?
sending it out, 6:30.
6:30.
So there's going to be a window to review it before the survey goes live.
Okay.
So that, if you were at that meeting especially, to check in and make sure that, the feedback that you gave is accounted for, and so that'll be coming out.
Okay. And I think the bottom line.
Wait.
When is it coming out?
I can't, sir, in the back.
I'm still responding.
Thank you for your patience. Oh, I'm sorry, she started talking, so
Okay.
go on, go for it.
So, we're gonna be getting out in the next couple of days. But we'll make sure there's, a period of time for people to respond.
So there will be another focus meeting before the final draft is printed and distributed.
No, there will be an email communication and with a window for people to respond to that. And if you want to chat after, I can make sure, you know, you get that. And then after that, we're going to make it live. And the next meeting will be actually about talking about how we can make sure this is distributed and shared and that people are really utilizing it. And so that'll be more of an outreach and implementation meeting to have our subcommittee take leadership around that.
I'll make sure I give you my email.
That would be great.
Yes, you're one of the people we're missing emails.
Part of the delay is that we're trying to track down email addresses because they weren't actually collected that night.
Right, yeah.
So if anyone's here and can help us with that, that would be really
Mr. Wright has the list.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Hello everyone, my name is Alfred Abu. I'm a Yedi resident. I've been living in Yedi about 17 years now. I'm originally from Sierra Leone, West Africa. Just piggybacking the cultural awareness is talking about. Williams School, Penn School District, I'm not sure how many people are aware, but especially in Yedi, we have a lot of immigrant community there, and most of these kids that are there, I would say maybe 50% are immigrant children. Most of them are born here, but they have that immigrant background. So when you talk about cultural awareness, these are things also you have to take into consideration, how you relate to your parents. Because where I come from, a lot of parents, where I come from, they're just hardworking, but they're not really participating in any of this event. Me myself, this is my first time coming here for this school, so I'm really trying to get involved. My children go to every elementary school, but just like we talk about the stigma about the schools, you know, I believe in every elementary school, although I think there's some improvement they can make because my children go there. But beyond the elementary school, I found myself paying for private school, for middle school and high school. Right now, and my last one is going to second grade. So my whole question is, how do the William Penn School District compare to other school districts in terms of curriculum? Are we on the same curriculum and also technology? Because there are kids coming from our experience, because sometimes children are coming home with homeworks they don't understand. So it seems like, I'm college educated. Now, if my child coming to school, if I'm not able to help her, what about parents that didn't go to school, especially these immigrant parents?
Yeah.
So if kids are coming to home and not understanding their homework, then what are they doing in school? And it seems like all they do is homework. From Monday to Friday, it's homework, and they're not understanding the homework. So if I find it difficult to do, even with my level of education, how about parents that didn't go to school? And which is most of these immigrant parents that are coming in, because they're busy doing 2 jobs. They really don't even have the time to go over kids' homework. So who's making sure these children are catching up? So it's not only a matter of the money for the school, but just it got to be a support system. Because without support, children not learning much in school, and when they go home, they don't have parents that can sit down and go over homework, make sure they get understanding. These kids are going to fall behind. And this is very true in the school district. So from middle school to high school, a lot of the parents, especially my neighborhood, those that can afford private school, their children are going to private school because they believe, again, maybe it's perception, that the children could do better in private schools. So those things have to be addressed. We really have to take our curriculum and compare it to other schools in terms of technology and social skills. There's other things like even common thing like maybe the cultural thing, our history. Okay, the kids don't know these things. Okay, so that have to be incorporated even into the curriculum. So if there's a way, maybe we can get input from the parents into the curriculum, maybe, and make a comparison to other schools. That would be a good idea.
Ms. Boykin shares education, and she'll tell you that we're in curriculum review, but
I do want to get your information before I leave, and I'll give you my information as well. We had our first ELA audit, English Language Arts, okay, has never been done. So the board that came in, they made sure that the audit is getting done. It got done. The results came back. When you ask us how we compare to others, I would have to forward that question to Mr. McKay, who is our curriculum director. But what I can tell you is that all of the things that were found in the ELA audit, they're being addressed. The first thing which you heard earlier with regard to us having material in the libraries for parents to review. So I'll ask Mr. McKay, I don't want to elaborate too much because I don't want to do your job, but could you explain what we're doing with the ELA audit to the gentleman in the back really quick? And also how our curriculum compares in some sort of way?
Sure. Very briefly, we are going through the audit process. And so we are studying each content area to make sure that we have the best for the students. And when we did the reading and English language arts review, we had teachers, other professionals, and as many parents too as wanted to volunteer. We had about 7 or 8. And we went through all the materials to evaluate which was the best based on our needs here. This upcoming year, we're doing science. So every year for the next several years, we will be looking at each content area, figuring out what we're doing well, how we can always make it better, and seeing how we can invest our limited funds in making it better for all the kids. So the process has started. It all can't happen overnight and at one time, but we are moving. Every year we're looking at another content area to improve it. We always want the best for any of our kids in William Penn School District, and that's what we're striving for.
How about technology?
So with technology, we are slowly getting there. Again, it's not an overnight process. We have purchased quite a few pieces of technology last school year, especially at the elementary school level. And this year at the secondary level, we will be adding more as well. So again, is it one-to-one by any means at every level? Absolutely not. But we're getting more and more technology into the classrooms. And when we look at the curriculum that we're purchasing, we always want to make sure that there's a strong technology component to it.
And I'll be able to provide more information. I know you have questions on that. I'll do my research too and talk to Mr. McKay some more to provide more information for you. Also, with regard to cultural awareness, this is something that we've been talking about as a board. We do understand, I believe we're 85% African American, 88% African American. Okay, I'm sorry. It's around in the 80s. So we did discuss as a board that we have to adjust. Some suggestions have been brought up, bringing different languages in, maybe Arabic, different Arabic, learning different things for our kids to adjust. With the cultural change that has happened in our district, it was a big change. And I don't think it caught up to everybody. Every area has a different amount of someone from a different country. Like for instance, in Darby, we might have a lot of Nigerians. And then, you might have a lot of people from Ghana and Calwin. It's all over, or a lot of Latinos. Recently in Calwin, we've built more and more poppy stores on the corner. We're trying to build more, With that being said, cultural awareness, cultural real competence, yes, cultural competence, and also some may use cultural awareness. I personally think all of it is important, and yes, it's something that our school district is working on. But I will say we're doing a good job with working on it because, for instance, Mr. Wright, if you want, even at Bell, we just had the African American program, and it was culture based. It wasn't just African Americans; it was people from different African countries there as well. So I would like to learn more and know more so I can report back on what type of cultural competence you would be looking for, what expectations you have for our district as well. And we can go from there. But definitely, I just want you to know we are working on those things, and we do know there's a difference. You go down the road, Upper Darby, we look similar to Upper Darby when it comes down to culture base, So these are things that we just have to work on. Okay. Thank you for trusting in William Penn School District and not sending your kids somewhere else.
Ms. Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, some of the comments tonight are making me think a lot about how, so as the part of the Community Relations Committee, we've been talking about having a subcommittee that's looking at questions around climate, specifically how to build restorative climate, how to think about children on this holistic level that we serve, thinking about trauma-informed practices, which are now becoming things that we are mandated to do, but also things that our district has been working to implement for a while. And, I'm interested in, in a subcommittee, creating spaces where we can talk about some of these things and learn about some of the best practices that are out there in the world, but also what's working well in our district already, who's implementing practices that are really thinking about our children holistically, including making sure the curriculum is relevant to the different cultures reflected in the room. I think all of that, to me, is included when we think about the kind of school climate that we're trying to build, and thinking about the quality of life that you were talking about, Mr. Dodson. I think thinking about school climate collectively and starting to make that a conversation that we're having together is something I think will be important, and I'd like to start thinking about that for this fall. So
I want to get back to Ms. Fitty, please.
You know what? Miss Fitty's a Yaden girl. You can take me out of Yaden, you can't take me out of May. I've been in school board for 12 years, and tonight I'm very appalled. I'm a school board director. I devote my time to my community and other communities. But tonight, I was cut short because someone was supposed to ask a question about taxes, but it wound up being an education, okay? I'm going to directly call you tomorrow. I want to know where the 210,000, I still not got an answer.
You do have an answer, you just need some paperwork.
I've been waiting since June. It shouldn't have to take till August to get that answer, okay? There's no negative I'm trying to bring. I asked for a question. I want to be held just as I am important today until I leave in December. I don't like being cut short. I really don't. And that's when my Italian dandruff comes up. Jeff, I also want to ask you, I've been calling you about that mirror. The guy still has not gotten it fixed. His rearview mirror that a bus hit. Never got fixed. For that reason, I'm going to tell you, it stinks to raise taxes. I'm going to be filled because my husband's retiring next year, and now I'm going to pay $600 some for medical. Do we have it? None. I can't collect Medicare until I'm 65. So I feel where you're at. My mother was there, and everyone else in the boat is there. But what I'm going to ask tonight, when I speak, don't stop me.
Ms. Fitty, you
No,
were
don't
talking
stop
about
me.
Upper Darby.
Don't stop me.
You were talking about Upper Darby. This is
No, you know what, Jen? When I sat here patiently listened to all you talk. I really did. But the problem is, I don't know why people think they can stop me in their tracks.
You were talking about Upper Darby.
I was talking about Upper Darby, high income taxes for these dear young ladies, okay? About our foreclosures, how many? I work with the county with that. I don't get paid for it, I research it. If you have a problem paying your taxes, we have set you up there rather important enough to get involved. This is what I know. But as far as you and someone else cutting me short, and I sitting here patiently listening, I think that's very rude.
Okay.
I'm going to note you on that.
Okay. Just watch the video and see when Upper Darby came up, I moved along.
You know what?
It's okay.
I don't pay taxes in Upper Darby. I pay taxes here in William Penn.
I know, and that's why I stopped with.
And it's not funny, because I'm not being funny right now.
I get it.
All right?
I
But
appreciate your
210,000 walk out of the school, and we don't get it back, and I'm not getting the paperwork saying we did. Something's wrong with them. Now you're shaking your head.
Because
I'm
I
asking
know.
what you're talking about.
So I asked you,
Okay.
don't stop me.
Okay, it's not, okay. I
Don't
got
stop
it.
me.
I got it.
You know what? No, you
I
don't
got
got it.
No, I understand now what you're talking about.
That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, got it.
That's what I was trying to get across, but you know,
Thank you.
nobody seems to want to listen to me. That's
Well, Ms.
fine.
Biddy, I'm sorry. that
Because
you
after
thought
I'm done in
that-
December,
I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off.
let me
My
tell you.
apologies.
After I'm done in December, I'll be back with that community.
Okay, I
Because
understand.
they won't stop. I did it for 20 years before I came up here. I'll do it again. I want your phone number when you leave, your phone number, your phone number, your phone number.
Oh, yes. One of the areas that I personally had addressed myself to, because it came from a member from the community in Yaden, who was African descent. I've been working very hard and diligently to really understand the company that also have individuals who look like the students that we teach. And what the group that we're leaving out is our African educators and also those from the Caribbean. So I have been meeting with some churches. Matter of fact, I got a call the night before I went to the meeting. Someone who African wants to talk to me about the process. I'm meeting Mr. Conley and getting hired. What we have to do to help our African brothers and sisters to be hired and become educators. One of the problems is, it has happened with some of our students. America seems not to want to accept some of the courses from Africa or even the Caribbean. And then they had to go back to school. Mr. Conley can testify, we spent a lot of time at Lincoln University. We met a gentleman from Lincoln University, had 3 master's degrees from Africa, and America didn't even count one of them.
Wow.
And he had to earn, he was so committed. I never asked Mr. Conley, did he ever try to seek us out for a job or maybe somewhere else? He wound up earning 2 more master's degrees. So he's walking around with 5 master's degrees when he should have been able to count the 3 master's degrees that he had that came from Africa. And I believe once we start hiring people like some of our Africans and Caribbeans, then we have a better understanding of the difference between cultural awareness versus cultural competency. And that's what would help it. And what she was alluding to, Ms. Boyd was alluding to, that Bell Avenue, I'll never forget as long as I live. We bought a Universal Dance and Drum Ensemble, internationally known, and they came in the African garments, and our kindergarten children were there. They never sat down. They never sat down.
Yep.
And then they brought out a new group called the Trumpet Chicks. Culture again.
Yep.
Music that some of us can relate to. Again, they never sat down. And I'm about supporting everybody's culture. That's a fact, and I have. But I want to see our public schools start supporting our culture, which has cross. I come from Philadelphia. I worked in Chester, and now I'm here. And I can say, in Chester, we did it. We made it happen. We was able to hire individuals as educators because everybody got involved. Now, when we're talking about the negativity, now I'm very happy now I don't hear anymore that we're not qualified, but we are qualified. We found that out. And so there are individuals who do want to teach. I don't hear anymore that the pay is too low because we have people who want to teach our children regardless of the pay. They have to have a pay, at least a pay to keep a roof over their house. But once we start moving and take that position, because the problem is, like I said, we would have the education meeting, and then we're going to have a personnel meeting, because we got to, because next year we look at a teacher contract. And hopefully we'll start having some teachers that our students can relate to, that look like them, that speak like them, that talk like them, that eat like them. And hopefully it could change where we are. If I was here, because I sat here too like Miss Fitty, that I don't really want to hear a whole lot of negativity, because I know I'm like to believe I'm a very proactive person. And everybody from Yaden knows that. They also can tell you that Yaden is well informed in transparency, at least from Region 8. You know, over the years. There were times I took care of Region 8 and Region 9. But now, since I gotten older, I'm just focusing on Region 8. And hope I can get some help, you know, from the other boroughs. But once we start moving in that, our children can grow. Our children are great. Like I said, I'm never going to forget those kindergarten kids. And I'm going to ask Ms. Oaks, I never asked them, did they go to bed? They were so excited. And once we start doing those things, we will see. We'll see a difference.
All right, thank you. All right, the next announcement of future meetings, the next meeting, the committee of the whole, we go back to 2 meetings a month. My board, 6:30 on Monday, September 16th in the administration building right here. And the meeting, business meeting of the board, school board directors will be held at 7:30 Monday, September 23rd, in this room. Pre-session starts at 6:30, regular session at 7:30.
Is there any date I could pick for education at all?
I think that
Is September full?
September's pretty full because of our curriculum nights.
Okay.
Every elementary and middle school has to have, well, and the high school usually has theirs in February. But because we're all Title I schools, we have to have these curriculum nights. So you're having your sneak peek, and then almost every school, and Pam can give you the dates.
What about Thursday, October 3rd?
Well, I was actually going to say, I'll just attend, that'll be feedback that I can get for education meeting, the curriculum nights too. So October 3rd, that works.
Does that work for you, Mr. McKay?
Well,
Does that work for everybody else? October 3rd?
October 3rd for the education meeting?
so,
Does that work?
well, I don't know. I'm just gonna be plain
Oh, sorry.
honest, and I know we're still in meeting and still on the camera, but Mr. McKay needs to go see 2 grandbabies sometime or other.
Okay, I
So
just
can you
want,
call him tomorrow and really?
Great, that's fine.
that's fine. But how would I, okay, I'll use the board meeting in September to relay that information.
Well, no, you could just email us all.
Okay.
And say, hey, we worked out a date.
And then we'll have globals.
Okay, I'll make sure everyone gets the date for the October meeting.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot Mr. McKay has 2.
Sorry, Mr. McKay, congratulations.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
I wanted to